Hello everyone, welcome to Cody's Card Closet on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. For this year's Martin Luther King Jr. special, we're going to just talk a little bit about his influence and how that impacted Major League Baseball. Martin Luther King Jr., as you know, was an important civil rights activist. He was a leader in the movement to end racial segregation in the United States. As a lot of you know, he had the I Have a Dream speech. He was also the youngest man to be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. So segregation carried into sports as well. As a lot of you baseball fans that are tuning in know, you've all heard about Jackie Robinson. Here's a card of his. He's still put into sets today. Jackie Robinson was the first African American to break the color barrier in Major League Baseball. When he was signed, he actually lined up with the Brooklyn Dodgers for his first game on April 15th, 1947. And if any of you have seen the movie 42, it's a great movie. If you haven't, I highly suggest you watch it. Chadwick Boseman played Jackie Robinson, did a great job, just really showed everything that Jackie Robinson had to deal with. Definitely one of the most courageous baseball players of all time, which is what he dealt with to help turn baseball into what it is today. A little lesser known player, Larry Doby. This is from the 2000 Fleers Greats of the Game set. He was the first African American to play in the American League. He dealt with a lot of the similar issues that Jackie Robinson did when he tried to play. But since Jackie Robinson was the first, you hear about it a lot more. But Larry Doby dealt with the same things in the American League. He actually debuted just 3 months after Jackie Robinson, when Bill Veeck signed him to play for the Cleveland Indians. Larry Doby was a phenomenal player as well. He played in the outfield. He came from Long Island University, where he had a really good career. They both were instrumental, both in the National League and the American League, for what they were able to accomplish. Which leads us to the featured cards for today. And both of these guys, they're interesting cards. This is James Redmore from yesterday's baseball. These were actually cards that were created specifically for them. So there's a little bit about him. We'll talk more about James Moore. And then here's Willie Lee. So both of these gentlemen, so if you all want to pause and read that, you can. Both of these gentlemen played in the Negro Leagues before Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. James Moore was actually at the end of his playing days when Robinson debuted, so there wasn't really an opportunity for him to make his debut, as he was born in 1916, actually began playing in 1937. His last appearance was in 1940. He played for the Newark Eagles. He also played for the Baltimore Elite Giants. One thing about James Moore, they say he was known as a defensive whiz, and a lot of scholars and those who've done the history of Negro League Baseball actually say he was one of the best fielding first basemen of all time, regardless of league. He just didn't get an opportunity to play in the major leagues. Willie Lee as well was a great player. He came up a bit after James Moore. Actually, kind of one of his heroes, he actually listed as Jackie Robinson. And then later in his career, he had one of his heroes was Willie Mays, since Willie Lee played in the outfield as well. He also pitched and caught, which was something that was pretty common. They had, there was, a lot of great athletes that just didn't get the opportunity to play in Major League Baseball, who could play multiple positions. Some of them did get a chance after Jackie Robinson to follow his path and come over, like Satchel Paige, but there were just a lot that didn't get the opportunity. Josh Gibson, who was a catcher, who actually people compared a lot to Johnny Bench. They say he was one of the best power hitters of all time, and actually could have broken Babe Ruth's all-time home run mark if he had been in the major leagues his entire career. Pop Lloyd was a phenomenal shortstop that people compared to Honus Wagner a lot, and said that he was one of the best fielding shortstops of all time. Buck Leonard was a tremendous power hitting first baseman as well, who a lot of people will compare to a Lou Gehrig as far as his hitting with Jeff Bagwell's power. But Leonard was actually quoted as saying that he wished he could have played in the big leagues when he was young enough to show what he could do, because when an offer came up for him to join, he said he was too old and he knew it. Another great player was Cool Papa Bell. He played center field, possibly one of the fastest players of all time. And both of these guys, James Moore and Willie Lee, I met them in 2002. As you can see, they dated the cards. One dated it incorrectly. I'm not sure which one did. We were on a bus trip with Parks and Recreation to go to Atlanta to watch the Braves play the Cubs, because I wanted to see Sammy Sosa play. He had to go home and take care of his wife, though, so he didn't play in those games. But I met both of these guys in the Atlanta Underground. And if you've been to Atlanta, they have an underground mall, which is pretty cool. And both of these guys were down there, had a table set up, and were signing autographs. And they both mentioned to me about Cool Papa Bell. They both got to play with him. And rumor has it with Cool Papa Bell that he was so fast that he could get out of bed to turn out the light and be back under the covers before the light went out. And that's the same story these guys told me. And there's just, a lot around those guys. Great storytellers. And, it was fun to just get to talk with them and have the stories around these cards and get to hear about their time in the Negro Leagues and just what that experience was like. That's a great thing about collecting, too, is you meet these players, you get autographs, but you get the memories and you get the stories that come along with it, and you just get to hear a lot more about the game. But because of Jackie Robinson and Larry Doby and all those that have followed, and those that took the risk and took the chance and were brave enough to step out and cross the color barrier, it opened up the door for a lot of the players we've seen today and those that have impacted baseball. Because as we know, Hank Aaron broke Babe Ruth's record, and then Barry Bonds broke it again. Two players who got chances to play because of what Jackie Robinson did. And I have a few of my personal favorites out that I've gotten autographs of throughout the years, just to showcase. Denard Span here. As you can see, some of the ones in the back I'll bring up to the front, so they're a little crisper. Adam Jones, one of my favorites as well. Dusty Baker, who not only played for the Dodgers, but he was also a great manager too. Jackie Bradley Jr., who got an opportunity to come out and play, and actually has World Series with the Red Sox. And Chris Davis, who's had a great career so far. With the Athletics, you also have Josh Bell and Michael A. Taylor in the front. So I think, on today, I just wanted to reflect back on what Jackie Robinson, Larry Doby did, remember those who didn't get the chance to play in the major leagues, and also reflect on everything that Martin Luther King Jr. Did for civil rights. So thank you for tuning in. We'll go back tomorrow with another Mail Day episode and some more featured cards. Enjoy your Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we'll see you tomorrow.